Let's study the standing guillotine attack and the standing guillotine escape. Okay, so I'll mimic the punch. He comes in for the double leg. That's the guillotine choke. Okay, so let's say I am throwing a strike here. He will dodge my punch and come in for the double leg. My first reaction is to squat down and move back. That should give me enough balance and time to wrap his neck. Whatever side you see his head, you wrap his neck. After that, at the other side, you come in front of his shoulder and hold your own wrist. Just like that. Then you launch your elbows on your ribs. And you start pulling your wrist up. Okay? Watch, a few more details. Shoots for the double. Squat down and back. Wrap his neck and hold my own wrist. Lock my elbows on my ribs. You don't want to apply this choke just with your arms strength. Watch the way I move my hips into the choke. And look how I arch my back. That gives me so much extra power. We will see now what to do if someone tries that choke against us. So this time my partner will mimic the punch. And I am the one shooting in for a double leg or a body lock takedown. So I'll stop right here. He'll wrap my neck. Okay, so here's what we should do. Aperta aí. Step number one is relieving the pressure. So, avoid his strike and shoot, he grabs my neck. As soon as I see the choke there, I pull his wrist down against my chest and I tuck my chin. He will put more pressure. He might have it. That's because I need one more step. That hook on his shoulder. It's not so much my hand on his back, but it's the hook my arm makes on his shoulder. So now when he puts pressure, you see, even if he gets me off the mat, I don't really feel the choke. Go one more time. Watch. I don't really feel the choke. When he needs to rest his arm for a little bit, I step behind his knee for the takedown. Block his knee and I drive. Make sure to post your hands and step back. Don't fall on top of your partner when practicing that technique. You drive, post. And then you go chest to chest. My right hand is behind his neck. My left hand immediately goes back to his wrist. He's still squeezing and holding. I raise my hip and I drive my shoulder really heavy on his neck. Heavy, heavy until he wants to defend his own neck. That's when I go chest to chest, underneath his elbow, hands together, shoulder on his jaw, and I establish the side mount control. One more time. My partner will mimic the punch. I will avoid his strike. Shoot in, he'll wrap my neck. One grip on his wrist pulling down. Tuck my chin and hook on his shoulder. Watch the hook. Now he tries the choke. I don't really feel it. Time for the takedown. Make sure to walk to the opposite side of your head. If you miss that important step, you might hit your head on the ground. Watch. That would be wrong. Opposite side of my head, I block his knee and I drive. Now I will step back and post my hands. Now, right arm behind his neck. Left hand on his wrist. I will stay on my toes and hips high so I can drive a lot of weight on my right shoulder. Now he feels the pressure, and he wants to protect his neck. I'll be patient until he wants to protect his own neck. He had to release mine. Underneath the elbow, cup my hands, shoulder on his jaw, chest to chest. Let's work now on how to attack from the turtle position. We'll learn how to place our hooks from there, okay? Have someone at the turtle position. He's trying to protect you from putting the hooks. The hooks are your feet inside his legs. Once you place your feet there, it makes it really hard for someone to escape. Because that's such a good control for self-defense sports, in tournaments you would score 4 points for placing your both hooks. So someone is in turtle position, you should sprawl back, be heavy on his hip, that's first. From here we go. And now I have both hooks in, and also I am ready to set up my chokes. Okay, let's break it down. Someone is in turtle position, make yourself heavy on his hip. Okay, my hip low, heavy on his hip, trying to keep his hip very low. That blocks a lot of his escapes. Now with my hands, he will be always protecting his neck, but he cannot do much about you going underneath. So you will go underneath, levanta aqui, and hold both collars, okay? Once you get your grip on both collars, you're ready to turn him upside down to start fighting to place your hooks. See, he's not giving me space for the hooks. Cannot do it from here. That's why I decide to do this. Use my knee to block his knee, and using my body weight, I sit back. Because my right hand is hanging to the collar, when I sit back, that's very powerful. And he cannot do nothing about turning upside down. But he knows what's going on. That's why he's keeping his elbows close to his knee. He's still blocking my hooks from coming in. That's why one of my hands gets off, tight, close to his neck. I started working on a choke. Now he wants to protect his neck. Then I pull him back. The entire time as I am doing this, my knees are tight on his hip. That's why he's not escaping. But now look, 1, 2, I have plenty of room. And my goal was to place my hooks in. One more time. Sprawling on the hip. Going underneath. You see, I never open my fingers too much. It always is a knife. Holding both collars. Now one little detail. If you stay low, after you turn, he might fall on your chest. And from here, you don't have much control, and it is hard to place the hooks. You don't have much control because, see, my knees can't squeeze his hips. If he moves his hip to the side, he got side mount control. The detail we need to get in place in order to avoid that is you're low, heavy on the hips. After you have placed your grips, allow yourself to go higher as you block his knee. That's because after you turn him upside down, you want his hips to be in between your knees. So watch. Look, I was low here. I brought myself higher. After I turn him upside down, he sits on the mats. I squeeze with my knees. I am not fighting in space. That's why I need to grab his neck with the choke. Now he wants to protect his neck. I pull back, 1, 2 hooks in. Also, would be a very good position to start setting up submissions on his neck. Let's study the 2 hands collar choke. It's one submission from the back. Let's say You are already on the back. You are already with your hooks in. And now you need to fight for a choke submission. We'll work on the two hands collar choke. So I'm underneath his arms just for control. Whenever I have the opportunity, one arm over the shoulder. Feet. The other one adjusting. And I have the choke. Underneath, it's just for control. I could be using a bear hug. I could be holding the collars. One hand out, over the shoulder. Tight, 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 tight. As deep as I can. The other one, switch collars to adjust pulling down. It is important that you pull back your elbow as you choke. Separate your chest from his back if you need to. So we're here. Now watch my lefty elbow. I will extend my arms. And I'll get the choke. Control. Pulling my arm out. Over the shoulder, deep. Switching collars. One final detail, and very important. If you have your left hand choking, you will lay to your left side. That's because your choke is way more powerful when you bring the person to the same side of your hand that is choking him. Also, that makes it much harder for him to escape. Let's study how to escape from the rare bear hug underneath the arms. Okay, so that situation here. And we'll end with the control on the ground. So if someone comes in with a bear hug, first thing, spread your feet, squat down a little bit, good balance so you can react. After that, you want to work on his grips. Bring your thumb inside, start pushing his hand down. Go on top of your own hand and make a grip. Start pushing that down. At the same time as you're pushing his hands down, you're turning on your side. It's one step in, one step forward. You will want his hands to be at the side of your hip. Right here, you should be able to put a lot of pressure on his grip by using your hip. Also, an extra pressure will come from your head pushing against him. Your balance should be on your left foot. He might release you suddenly. You should not fall. That leg is giving you balance. Okay, so my hip forward, my head against the hem, stepping forward each time more, I should be able to see his leg. When you see it, you can grab it. You don't need to break his grip. He can still be holding here. Let's say he's super strong, but if I see his leg, I can squat down and hook it. Now it's not my hands fighting his grip anymore. As I step forward, my whole body will twist his right arm. Look. He had to let it go. From here, double leg. My right hand on the calves, the other hand aiming low on his leg. As I drive, shoulder and head. You see how light this leg became? Pulling that out. As I cut, and I step forward. For the side mount control. One more time. So, he grabs the bear hug. At the same time, pushing the grip down. Stepping in and forward, turning on my side. Pushing with my head and my hip against his grip. From that position, if I can see his leg, I can grab it. Can see his leg. I squat down, elbow in, hook. Don't wait. My right hand wants to grab my own hand and they step. That should break his grip pretty good. Should not wait here. Head up, your ear touching his body, your jaw on your shoulder, looking to the direction you're about to drive him. As you drive, the leg becomes really light. As you're cutting here, you step forward and drive. One final detail, don't fall on top of your partner. As you drive, you will post. Watch. Posting. Now, I will establish chest to chest. You can control shoulder and block his legs. Let's study how to sprawl, spin to the back, and place our hooks. Okay? So, someone is here trying to grab your legs. The first thing you want to do is to take your knees off the mats and make your hips really low. Okay? After that, tell your partner to post his elbows so he can carry your weight. From here we go. And we'll stop with the hooks in. When someone comes in for the double leg, whatever side you see his head, come with your arm in front of the shoulder. That's because if you go underneath the arm, you're not stopping the person from moving forward and deeper on the double leg. At the same time you're blocking the shoulder, you should take your knees off the mats and bring your hips down low. You should free your legs by doing this. Okay? Now the next step is spinning for his back, but he will continue fighting back. If you try spinning this way, he will raise his head and follow you. If you try the other side, he might use his arm to block. What we need in order to spin for his back is to pull out this arm again and cross face him. When you cross face him, you don't care about grabbing anything, you just care about driving his head away from you. So you're sprawling and cross facing him. What it does, it takes out his ability from controlling your leg. When you start pushing his head away, your leg goes far from him to the point that you move around his arm. Watch. I'll have the cross face with my left arm. I'll sprawl. He can do nothing about me spinning for his back. Okay? So once here, knees off the mat, hips low, heavy on his hips. And then let's work underneath his arms to get a good control. Over the arm, he'll be always blocking. He's worried about the chokes, but he cannot do much about us going underneath the arms. Just fingers together, simple grip like that, bear hug him. Now let's turn him upside down so we can put our hooks. You'll block his knee with your knee. You can pick a side. I'll pick this side here. I'm blocking his knee with my knee. Now as I pull him, I am falling back using my body weight to help, and I want to have his back on my chest. After we turn, 1, 2 hooks. If it's a self-defense situation, I have a very good control here. Should be able to go for submissions. If it's a tournament, same thing. That's why in tournaments you score 4 points for having both hooks on someone's back. We can also work on that drill from standing up. So you will find yourself a lot of times with someone shooting in for double leg, you will sprawl. Just make sure your partner knows that after you sprawl back, he needs to drop on the turtle position, just so he does not hurt his shoulders. Okay, so remember, at the same time, place your hands in front of the shoulder, underneath the arm, and sprawl. Watch. Now he will keep fighting. He will keep his head up and controlling my leg. Cross face, push his head away. Heavy on the hips, bear hug. Block his knee, pull him to the side. 1, 2 hooks in. Okay, let's study one submission from the back. That's the rear naked choke. Okay, so if you have someone's back, let's say at first you're underneath the arms. That's how it happens most times. Controlling here, controlling here. From here we go. To finish with the rear naked choke. So let's control both collars. One hand will get ready for the choke. You will not do the choke underneath the arm. Pull your arm out. Don't open this way. Easily they can block. You do this. Close to the neck. All the way deep. If you just go halfway, you'll be putting pressure on his throat. That's not the best choke. You want to catch the arteries. You see now, at one side it's my forearm, at the other side it's my biceps. Getting his arteries, okay? That's the best choke. This arm will reach to my biceps, and my right hand goes behind his neck. I like to have my hand this way. That's up to you. You can turn and do this. Now, to gain more pressure, you move your elbows like if you close your elbows together. As you push his head forward, and you pull back your forearm. Okay, so one more time. Controlling the collars. Over. When you go for your biceps, if you don't want them to hold the arm, you can do this from here. Straight shot. Elbows together. And squeeze. You will find the opportunity for that choke from here. When you have the back and hooks in. Your feet inside his legs. Controlling, most times you will have your back on the mats. From here you go. Let's study the rear choke escape, standing up. Okay, so you're here, someone grabs your neck, you go. Quick reaction, get him off balance, and throw. Once he's on the ground, knee in the belly. Okay? So, once the attack comes, quick reaction is important. Drop in a good stance, so you squat down, feet parallel, your stance about your shoulders with, pull the forearm down and tuck your chin. The best is if they cannot get all the way to your neck. You could still do it from here, but tuck your chin if you can. When you squat down, back straight. When you extend your legs and hit him with your hip, you bend. See? You bend. And throw your shoulder forward. You can pick a shoulder to throw forward. But the more you practice, you can figure out which arm is choking you. So it's always best if I throw that shoulder forward. Here I can feel which arm he is using to attack. Then I throw. That really gives you a good takedown. Once you're here, you want to control him on the ground. And in the belly, it's actually your shin on his belly. Posture, hips forward, balance, leg up, controlling his arm, pushing his neck. Okay, one more time. When you drill that position, you should only do the takedown when you feel very comfortable with this, making sure your partner really knows the break fall. So, as you squat down, you pull the forearm, tuck your chin. When you extend your legs, you hit him with your hip, shoulder forward. If you want to finish the throw, you just rotate more the upper body. You take him down. In the belly right away. And get a good control here. But you will find times that he will come in with the choke. You will try that one escape, but look, now he's stepping. He's pulling me back. He's pulling really strong, and the stronger he pulls, the better, because now I'll switch directions. And I'll throw him down anyways. Okay, so if he grabs you with the right hand and he tries to step in with the left foot, that's awkward for him, that's not natural for him, and also he should not gain the same power. I should still be able to fight for my hips, and I should be able to get him in the air. What really blocks my first escape is when he grabs same hand, same leg forward. Now he can really pull back hard. Okay, second escape, no problem. Tucking my chin, I step behind his leg. That even gives me more leverage to pull forward. And then he will pull really hard. That's the momentum. You see my right foot's not flat. I need to pivot on it. So I'll pivot on it and feet parallel. That throw will not come from my legs, it will come from my upper body. You can keep your feet flat and just bend forward. You should have him on the ground. In the belly after that. Control him on the ground, always. One more time. Try number one, he pulls me back. Try number one, he pulls me back. Time to go number two. The reason why I don't need to move my feet is because I pull that against my chest. Watch, when I bend, my shoulder goes against the wrist. He can't step back. That's happening fast. So when I bend a bit more, that twist will make him fall down. Look, here, he goes down. Knee on the belly right away. Let's study how to escape from the back using the bridge. So let's say we are on the ground. Someone has the back already 2 hooks in. Okay, he's controlling. So from that point on, I'll go. And end up on the side mount control. When someone has your back, you should always cross your hand to protect your neck. So when they come in for the choke, watch, that's better than doing this, okay? That's easier for you to learn. Always the opposite hand will block. You don't need to wait for any chokes to come in. Your goal here is to bridge and have your back on the mats. So look, I'll bridge. He still has his chest on my back. My head will touch the mats at first. If I can touch the mats with my head by moving my shoulders, my back should follow. He still has his grips, he still has his hooks. I am here protecting my arms. So real quick, we'll grab his foot, take it away. By escaping the hip, we sit on top of his leg. Once we did it, we should be able to escape a little bit more. And now we start raising our hip and putting weight on his chest. We might even be able to push his leg away and control side mount. One more time. You should also learn how to deal when he is trying to choke you. So let's say he comes for the choke. I tried to block. He did get the collar. That's okay. I have to deal with it. I keep pulling his wrist down. But now I have only one side I can go to. Use his hand as a signal. If he comes in with the choke using his lefty hand, I can only go to my right side. My head is touching the mats. Soon my back will be. If I lean to that direction, the proper direction, like I said, his choke is weak now. He does not have a really good choke here. Protecting my neck all the time. And just real quick, clearing the foot and escaping my hip, but always taking care of my neck. Here, he does not even have the choke anymore. I can let it go. I just concerned about raising my hip, putting weight on his chest, clearing my legs, and controlling my side mount position. My knees are off the mats, I'm blocking his legs, I'm hugging his shoulder. If you go to the wrong direction, you will choke yourself. Look, I'm here. He comes in with the choke, he got the collar. Now I'm going to the wrong direction. After I have escaped, when I turn into him, I start choking myself. That's why he's always safer, always better. He has the collar. Use his hand as a signal. And now, focus on having your hips off the mat. Weight on his chest is important in Jiu-Jitsu. Learning where to put your weight. I'm not muscling. My weight is on top of him. My weight is working in my favor. Clearing my leg. Knees off the mats. I am still very heavy. And chest to chest. Heavy the entire time. Let's study one submission from the back. The one hand collar choke. Okay, so we can drill from here on our knees. Let's say I have the back, I'm controlling here or here. It's time to go for the choke, always over the shoulder. Trying to grab deep, I'll feed. Then he comes in to pull my forearm down. That's the opportunity for the one hand collar choke. Okay, so let's start controlling. You can be controlling both collars. From here we go. I'll pick my left hand to go over the shoulder for the choke. I like to close almost as a fist and keep one finger up so I can go through his hands if I need to. Open the collar to feed as deep as I can with my grip. That choke works well when he comes to hold here. And he makes a mistake to leave this elbow open. Okay? That's when instead of going for the collar here to adjust, I have an option to get him inside, pulling his elbow even higher, and then I go behind his neck. And now the pressure is so much when I separate my chest from his back and I extend my arms. The pressure is so much. You will get that submission most times from here. You will have your hooks in, you will be controlling, you'll have your back on the mats, and from here you will go. One arm over, deep, and then they want to pull your forearm down. They leave the elbow open. You pull it even higher. You go behind the neck, then you extend both arms. Watch my left elbow. I will pull it back and get a very powerful choke from here. Let's study how to control the rear clinch when we are standing up. So if you got someone's back standing up, good way to control is go around and grab the wrist. And then grab the biceps, pull against his body, and break his posture here. Most times, that situation will come from the stand-up fighting. Let's say my corner is mimicking the punch. I'll get to my ready stance, pick my strong leg, half step to the side, half step back, turn my upper body, cover, and measure distance. Then from here, I'll shoot in for the clinch. I'll aim for the double leg. Okay, so from here, change levels, keep my eye on him. You see I brought my forearm as a shield, keep the other one covering my jaw. Leading leg steps in, double leg. There will be times that this person here will sprawl back. You see I don't quite have the double leg anymore. That's my opportunity to step in, head up, and I'll go for his back. Once on his back, I am just hugging the hip to start controlling. At that point, I really have to glue my head behind his back. He can start hitting back with his elbows. See? Then I'll keep one arm on the hip, the other one I push his arm so I can control the wrist with my lefty hand. See, when I control my thumb, he's over the wrist, pulling against his body. And now I can bring my head up a little bit. It's better if you break his posture. So with my left shoulder, pushing on his back as I pull in his arm. And we'll stop right here. I could use several takedowns or even submissions from that position here. From the beginning. Ready stance, measuring distance, drop, shoot his pros. Don't muscle for the sprawl anymore. I mean for the double leg anymore. You step in and raise your head. Watch. It's important to drive him with your head. This way he does not have the guillotine. If you don't hit him with the head, he might grab your neck. Now you're in trouble. When you push your hip, when you drive with the head, no guillotines. Too late for him. And then you spin, control the hip. Watch for the elbow strikes. Control his arm. As you're doing this, make sure be controlling the hip. Just then, two hands on one arm. Using my left shoulder to break his posture. He cannot punch, kicks, or do anything from that position. Not even use his left arm that is free. With a rear clinch, you totally neutralize his counters. Let's study the turtle position from the bottom. Okay, how to defend ourselves and escape from there. Let's say something like that might happen. You're standing up here, and then you shoot in for double leg, and then someone sprawls. You feel like you don't have the double leg, and then he's heavy, and then you end up falling here. When you fall here, you will want to keep the turtle position. The turtle position, we call that technique of keeping our knees closing off to our elbows so we can hold weight. Let's say if he takes his knees off the mats, you see he's trying to put all his weight on me. I have no problems because my elbows and knees are in place. But now I don't want to be here for a long time. His next step will be to start using his hands. He can get chokes. He can get good control from here. Let's learn how to do these real fast. Watch. And recover full guard. You can drill that position already from the ground. Okay, so you're here, you prepare your turtle position, and then your partner puts weight on top of you. You will not want your head stuck underneath him. That's wrong. Your head's outside. You're trying double legs, you're trying something, and suddenly you pull guard. So if my head is on the left side, I will stand up my right leg. You see, head to the left, right leg up. Look. See now, the next step is very technical. With my leg up, I will use this arm to push him away if I need. You can grab to something. But the way you bring your left leg through is this. Watch. By sliding inside. From here, watch my left leg sliding underneath, and my upper body goes to the side. Then I can let it go. So I have close guard. The opposite is once you're here trying to sit back straight. You see, you need too much room. Also, when you sit back, because his weight's on top, you get yourself stuck. If you learn how to do this, leg through, and leaning to the side, you will find the better way to sit back without fighting too much against his weight. Okay, so his sprawl is heavy. He has all his weight on top of you. You're not being able to finish singles or double legs. It's better to recover the guard instead of waiting for him to counter with a choke or to lock you on a tight grip there. So, my partner is sprawling, opposite side of my head. My leg stands up. I start blocking his knee here, and I bring my leg through. You see it? The way I lean to the side, my head's not stuck. His weight's not on my cervical. That's what I don't want. Can even let my elbow go on my side. Then I can lock my guard around him. Let's study turtle position from the bottom when someone is behind us. Okay, so that situation here. The turtle position is when I am on my fours, keeping my elbows closing off to my knees so he can hold his weight. And on that case, when he's behind, he will do his best to sprawl, take his knees off the mats, and to put a lot of weight on my hip. Okay? In order to escape, I need to free my hip and then perform my escape. Today we'll do this. Watch. To recover the full guard. So someone gets you on the turtle position from behind. Your first goal is to elevate your hips a little bit and to circle. If you create that angle, that really facilitates your escape. You see now he's not heavy on my hips anymore. He's heavy on my back. I want my hips free to move. So at the same time, I control his knee and I stand up my leg outside. Okay, look. After that, it's not too hard to slide my right foot through. Can even let my post here go. Can even let my grips go because he's already inside my legs and I have full guard. Okay, one more time. Turtle position. Elevate your hips and circle. Grab his pants and stand up your leg. Now you should have no problems. Sliding your foot through. Don't try to stand up and sit back straight. You need too much room. Always pretend someone really heavy is on top of you. Okay, so just here. You can let it go. You can let it go here. You have full guard. Let's study the standing rear break fall and the technical lift. Okay, so let's end here. He throws me, I break my fall. He gets close. Okay, so if you fall backwards, you should not post your elbow, you hurt your shoulder. Should not post your hand, you hurt your elbow. Should not hit your head on the ground. So the way to fall safe is, he will push me, I squat down, hands on my shoulder, chin on my chest, and I slap the mats with my arm flat, real hard. The harder I slap, the lighter my body drops. Now he's standing there. He wants to throw punches and or kicks. So I want to have him facing my legs. If he gets close to me, I fire my heels against his knees. When he steps back, it's the opportunity to sit up by posting my elbow. Keep the shield high here, my eyes on him, and I post my hand. Okay, now you can fire your kick one more time. You raise your hip so it's more powerful and you have a longer reach. Just when he steps back, you prepare to stand up. Okay, so keep your eye on him and turn your belly button down. Okay, raise your hip, turn and step for balance. Then you posture up, cover, measure his distance. Okay, one more time. Arms flat. Break your fall. Keep him away from you. Now, one more thing you need to watch. Whatever leg he's stepping back, you show your shield. Because that leg there throws the strongest kick. And if he does kick, you kick at the same time. Okay, so always show your shield to that leg and to that strong punch as well. After that, kick, and then stand up. Let's study close guard from the bottom. We'll study the pendulum sweep. So, if you have someone inside your close guard and trying to stand up, he posts one leg, that's the momentum. Okay? Place your grips over your hips. And you should have no problems working on your transition to the mount. Close guard, he is posturing up, posting his hands, and then he is willing to stand up, he'll post one leg up. My right hand goes underneath his leg, and grabs right here. At the other side, and at the same time, I am controlling behind his elbow. That's because when I throw him, I should not allow him to post his right hand. That would help him keep in balance. Okay? Once I place my grips, I'll open my guard. The next step is very important. I escape my hip to the outside. That's when I gain more power for my pendulum. See, the reason why this sweep is called the pendulum is because I swing my leg up and down. I start making a pendulum with my hip up and down. When I kick my left leg down, at the same time I bend my right leg on his back. Look how much power I get on my sweep. Then I work on my transition to the mount and I post. If it's a competition, you score 2 points for sweep. You score 4 points more for controlling the mount. He'll post one leg up. You'll prepare your grips. And now to escape your hip, you should use that arm underneath the leg to help you. Because you should not post that foot down. So the way to escape your hip is by pulling your head close to his leg. When you do this, automatically your hip go out. You should be facing the direction you will throw him. Pendulum, last detail. You should not let your left leg extended. He would fall on top of your leg. You need to bend, and then your transition to the mount is smooth. Knees down, push your hand, or posture up. That's up to you. Let's study close guard from the bottom. Let's work on the arm lock when the person has one leg standing. I am here in close guard. He poses here for posture. He poses one leg up, trying to stand up. Before he stands up, I place my grips, escape my hip outside. agility. And I work on my submission. Okay, when he stands up the leg, the first step is getting your hand underneath the leg and high on his thigh. Look. At the same time, at the other side, I'm controlling his gi right behind his elbow joint. I'll open my guard, escape my hip outside, and now I need to raise my hip to his armpit to make sure he cannot pull this arm out. That's the arm I want to submit. So I can raise my hip by bending my leg on his back. See, my hip was low. I brought my hip up by bending my leg and hanging myself on him. Then I can step over the head. When you step over the head, squeeze your knees together, bend your legs. My left leg is heavy behind the neck. My right leg is heavy on his back. And the submission comes when I grab on the wrist. I can let his leg go. Both hands on the wrist, hip up, and I arch my back. The submission is right on his elbow joint. Grips first. The hard step is escaping my hip. The detail is that you should not step with your foot down, but by using that hand, pull your head close to that leg. Immediately, your hip will escape outside. Once you learn that, it's easy. Look. See, when I pull my head close to the leg, my hip goes outside. And I raise my hip, and I step over the neck. Grabbing the wrist, can grab with both, and submit from here. Even better if you do all at once. Look. At the same time, you escape your hip and raise your hip for the step. Once you grab the wrist, you still have an option to control the pants, push his leg up, and submit from here. We will study now the safe stance, the safe clinch, and the hip throw. Okay, so the safe stance is the technique we use whenever someone approaches us and we are not sure what his intentions are. He might be getting ready to throw a punch or to throw a kick. So instead of standing here and squaring up with him, being a big target, what I will do is I don't need to look him in the eyes and just get in the situation to become more aggressive. So I can actually look him in the chest, and by doing that, I am already protecting my jaw here. I will make a little step back and turn on my side. This way, I kind of protect my groin area, and I raise my hands just as if I was talking, but actually I am kind of protecting my plexus, and I am one step away from covering just in case he throws a punch or something. So I am already in a much better position than he is. Okay? If I feel like I need to defend myself, I can anytime control his wrist, step in. That's why as I tuck my chin down, turn on my side, and raise my hands, I bring my weight to the balls of my feet here, to my toes. This way I can sprint forward. Okay, so I am on the safe stance. From here, when I sprint forward, I want to make sure I control his wrist so he will not throw the punch. At the other side, I am covering my face. As I step him, again, I let this shield go and I'll control his hip. Okay, so that position here, when I stand sideways with him, pull his hip inside, keep my head on his chest, control his wrist against his body, we call the safe stance. Okay, safe stance because here, he cannot throw headbutts because my head is on the chest. He cannot throw punches because I am controlling his arm. No knee strikes or kicks because I am controlling his hip. From here, I'll bring him to the ground by using the hip throw. So just one step, my toes will point to the direction. I want to flip him, and then just for 1 second, I'll let my head go and I'll step inside. I'll make a catch with my hip underneath his belt level. Then I bump him up. Ideally, his weight should be on my hips, so he's not heavy at all here. Controlling the wrist, controlling his hip. I'll rotate my upper body, and I'll have him on the ground. Okay, now we will control him on the ground using the knee in the belly. It's actually my shin on his belly. That leg should stand for balance. I should keep a good posture, hips forward. So this way, there is a lot of weight on top of him. This hand controlling the neck. If you make his back flat on the mats, it should be very hard for him to escape. You can push this hand away against his chest and control the neck. If he fires any punches with that hand there, you can just lean to the side and you should be fine here. One more time from the beginning. So someone approaches you, you're not sure if he will throw punch or kick, he's just talking in an aggressive way. You don't need to look him in the eye and square up here being a big target. On your side, hands up, chin down, and you talk from here. If you feel like you need the clinch to control the situation, the weight's already on your toes, so you can quickly sprint forward, controlling the punch, controlling the hip real quick. Make sure to have your head on the chest, pull his hip inside. Note that when we are practicing self-defense, we don't make grips on the uniform. I'm controlling his arm. 1, 2, feet parallel. The catch is with your hip. The opposite is trying to make the catch with your leg. That doesn't help. It's your hip underneath his belt level and you bump him up. Now you rotate your upper body. Note that I will look over my left shoulder and then throw. Posture up. This way I'm just helping my partner to break his fall. Knee in the belly, pushing the hand against his chest and my grip on his neck. If you want to add more weight on top of him, just take your toes off the mats and keep your balance with that leg here. Let's study the safe stance with the safe clinch, and it will be pretty much the same technique we did on week 1B, but the submission on the ground will change. Okay, so safe stance is that posture we use in case someone approaches us in an aggressive way. We don't know what his next step will be. From here we go. Take him to the ground. Controlling him on the ground. But this time, he chooses to grab my neck. You will get that a lot. People trying to pull you down. See? So I'm trying to posture up. He's pulling my neck down. No problem. All I need to do is to go here behind his elbow joint, lock my hands, lock my head, and work on the submission. Very simple and very effective. It goes right behind his elbow joint. Okay? In the belly, controlling the neck, controlling his arm. I am trying to posture up, but he reaches behind my neck and starts to pull down. That's okay. I let go his neck. I go with my wrist, just my wrist, right behind his elbow joint. At the same time, I lock his wrist with my head. I move my head in the direction of my shoulder. And now the best grip for that submission is this one. Your thumb tight. Now when you pull your hands towards your chest, that has so much pressure on his elbow joint. Watch. From in the belly, good posture, good balance. He reaches. I don't even wait. Just go for it. Let's study close guard from the bottom, and let's work on the triangle submission. Okay? The triangle submission from close guard will work best when you have one arm posting on your chest, so you have the opportunity to lock this arm with your legs, and the other one, maybe here, his hand is working against your hip, his elbow is working against your leg, and you will take the opportunity to push his wrist against his own body. Okay, so he's already bringing his arm close to his body. You will just help him. You go on the wrist, push him. The other grip is pulling the elbow even more inside your guard. Then you open your legs. You have to be quick here, okay? You want to lock your legs high on his shoulder. So his wrist will stay outside your close guard. You see, you just want this arm inside your close guard now. If you accomplish that lock with your feet, now you will climb little by little for the triangle choke, okay? Very strong submission from close guard. My first goal here is to cross his arm. See, he's posting his arm to keep his head up. So I'll go here, close to his grips. I'll fight his grips. I can even raise my hips. When I drop, I break his grip and push his arm away. That's one. Step two, I need to move my hip to the outside. You see, my legs are not long enough to lock the triangle from here. So I need to step on his hip, move my hip to the outside. And also, I need to bend my leg in the back of his neck. Now I brought him down. I can make sure he stays here by holding to my own leg. And then the triangle lock will come. Watch. The higher I can lock with my left foot behind my right leg, the better. Anda para lá. Hips outside, holding onto my own leg, locking the triangle. Last detail, elbow over the wrist. That will block a lot of his escapes, because now he cannot use this hand on my neck or on my chest. Okay, and to finish that submission, you need a few details. Watch, once your legs are in a good position, you need to squeeze your knees and bring him into you with your legs. Okay, don't try pushing him away with your hip. It does not work as good as if you pull him in, lock your knees, and also pull his head down. One more time on the triangle choke. He is already posting on my chest. The other hand is already on my hip. So I'll just quickly, at the same time, push his arm against his own body and pull his elbow. Also at the same time, I open my guard. I kind of bump my hips up and I cross my leg over his shoulders. Okay, quickly fight his grip. Push his arm across. Move your hip to the outside. Hold on to your own leg if you want. Lock a tight triangle here. Squeeze your knees. Have your elbow over the wrist. Grips on the head. pull him into you. And you should get a powerful choke from there. Let's study guard from the bottom, the foot on the hip technique. Okay, that technique is very useful when the person on top knows what he's doing inside close guard, so he will not give me chances for arm locks, triangles, chokes, and then he's about to open my guard. Let's say he's about to open, or he even did open my guard. Okay, after he did open my guard, if I don't use something to counter, his next step will be to get his arm underneath my leg. Next thing you know, he's driving weight forward and I am in trouble. The foot on the hip is a great position to counter that. You see, fighting against his arm here can be difficult. Pushing him away can be very difficult. It's smart if I just create space here enough so I can step on his hip. Okay, so here's the foot on the hip technique. And I recover my close guard. So, whenever someone is about to break your guard, or even after they did break your guard, great counter, great way to open the space for submission sweeps is foot on the hip. Make sure to give this technique the attention it deserves. Okay, so he goes underneath my leg. I should do my best to use my grips in order to open some space. You can pull the sleeve right on the wrist. Remember, thumb up, thumb inside is illegal. The other one can go here, in the elbow, behind the elbow, pulling that, just so you can step. He'll be moving, he'll be driving forward, so you can also use his arm as a post to help yourself escaping your hip. Once your foot steps there, if he does not stop trying to pass, he will muscle so much and he might get tired. See, I just extend my leg and stay sideways. Even if he stands up, drives all his weight forward, no problem. When you turn on your side, you lock your leg in a way that you don't muscle too much to hold a lot of weight. If he moves to the side, let's say he tries to move this side, he brings me with him. If he tries moving to the other side, he brings me with him. Don't square up with him. Now you would start muscling with your leg. Your foot might slip off. Okay, so on your side. Now it's my right leg that needs to work. Circle my foot, push his biceps away. My right leg again, underneath the armpit. And just then I pull him in and I lock. That's the foot on the hip technique. Once more. My partner will just post his hands here, and then he will try to reach underneath my leg. Simple like that. It's my job to create room here, to escape my hip, so I can step on his hip and escape my hip even more. You can do the same thing we just did if he stays on his knees. Nothing changed. The right leg pushes his biceps away. The right leg steps underneath. And now to pull him close guard, you need to bend your foot on the hip. Pull him and bend. Climb to his back. And then you cross your feet. Let's study now the front choke escape and the ready stance. Okay? We will use that technique to escape whenever someone comes in and grabs our neck. Okay? So, feet parallel, good stance here so you can react. Shrug your shoulders and tuck your chin down. You see, by doing that, you'll make it possible for him to keep holding. The reason why is because, look, just like when someone controls your wrist, if you try to pull down against the fingers, is way stronger than when you pull up against the thumb. So the same principle you will apply against the choke. Watch, the thumb is here. So if you have the opportunity to shrug your shoulders and tuck your chin down, he should not be able to keep the grip. Your next concern is that he will try knee strikes when you bend down. Watch. That's why you must cross your forearms like a shield. So you should be okay here. After that, you will step back, your head will follow, you will circle your head out, and you will prepare your ready stance. Watch. I step back, my head will follow, and then I posture up, and I'll have my ready stance here. Okay? So on your ready stance, you turn on your side, you cover your jaw, you cover your ribs. With the front hand, you cover, but most times you measure his distance. You see my partner, he's mimicking the punch. Just so I start learning the distance he needs to be able to apply the punch. Okay? So, the striker wants to stand here. The Jiu-Jitsu fighter wants to step back, posture up, and keep his strikes away. So if my partner steps forward, I should learn how to walk on my ready stance. If he steps back, I should learn how to walk with my ready stance. That will make the whole drill. So if you move back, you step with your back leg first. If you move forward, you step with your front leg first. Okay? To learn how to adjust your ready stance, watch. When you have feet parallel, you pick your strong leg, half step to the side, and half step back. Okay? Here you should stay. Every time you move, you adjust. One more time, the whole drill. Your partner steps in with the choke, you shrug your shoulders, step back, move out from the choke, ready stance, but measure the distance. Your partner will move forward, you step back. He moves back, you step forward. This way you learn how to walk on your ready stance, and you start understanding the distance one needs to throw a punch or to throw a kick against you. Let's work on how to pull guard from standing up. Anda pra cá. Okay. So when we start sparring here from standing up, the most common grip is strong grip on the collar. Most times your partner does the same. The other grip behind the elbow, most times he does the same. That's the regular grip when sparring standing up. Okay. Here I have two options. One is attempting for a takedown. If it's a competition, I would score 2 points. The second option is pulling guard. I don't lose any points by doing that, and I might have a plan to sweep and or submit him. Okay, so the same side you're controlling his elbow, you will want to step on his hip. Okay, so as your foot go up, your hips should be going down, and you will land on your side. Watch. On your side. Anda pra lá. You will not square up. As he drives weight forward, you'll have to muscle a lot with that leg. Your heel might slip out. When you escape your hip, you lock your leg in a position that gives you a lot of leverage to keep pushing his hip away, and that's what you want. Keep your grips. Your grips are pulling. You want a hem without posture. You don't want a hem to be able to arch his back. Okay? Anda pra lá agora. The other leg is circling inside, ready to push his biceps. Once you have that position, you're safe, and you can easily work on your transition to the close guard, where you should be even safer and you should have much more options for attacks. Watch. Now I just cross my feet behind his back and I have him in close guard. Once in close guard, you will want 4 fingers inside the cross collar as deep as you can and pulling him down. One more time. When you're preparing to spar from standing up, keep your feet parallel. Don't reach too much. Walk close, and then you reach to the collar. Keep your forehead aiming to his forehead here, blocking lots of his attacks. Okay, you don't want to lean to the sides or posture too much. Right here. And then he will grab your collar, you grab his elbow. The reason why you want to step at the same side you're controlling the elbow is just because, watch. If I use the other leg, this hand is free. He might push my leg away, and he can do a knee in the belly, just like he's doing. If it was a competition, he would be scoring 2 points now for knee in the belly. Okay? If it was a self-defense situation, I would be in a bad position. So, it is much safer to go at the same side you're controlling the elbow. Open guard, escaping my hip, pushing his biceps away. The transition to close guard is my foot underneath the armpit, then I start bending my leg that is on the hip and I pull him inside. When I climb his back, I let my foot on the hip go and I lock my feet. Most times he will drop on his knees. Immediately, you want to reach, cross grip on the collar as deep as you can and start pulling him down. You will learn later that sets up lots of your attacks. Let's work close guard from the bottom. We will study the tripod sweep. So if you have someone inside your close guard, posturing up, he stands up. Let's say he's doing a good job in breaking your guard, and then you need to fight in open guard. We are in open guard. Great technique to start fighting back in open guard is foot on the hip, one foot on the hip. Do your best to control the arm at the same side. Escape your hip to the side, foot on the biceps. Foot on the hip. After that, let's study the tripod sweep. You will sometimes have foot on the hip, 2 hands on one arm, 1 hand on the collar. That changes a lot. 1 hand on the sleeve, according to what your next attack is. We can keep it simple. 2 hands on the arm and foot on the hip. The way the tripod sweep works is 1, that's the tripod sweep. So, one more time. Someone is inside my close guard. He stands up. He's doing a good job. Keeping posture. He's about to break my guard. I don't even need to wait. I can anticipate myself. I can control his arm with both hands. Let my guard go. Step on his hip and escape my hip. I can take the initiative and go to the foot on the hip. Right hand pushing his arm away. A lot of times they will step forward because they want to raise their heads. See? That's when the tripod works best. Let this one go, hold the heel. Let your foot on the biceps go, toes behind the heel. And let the hand go. Some people would hold the hand and go with the person. That does not help you. You're actually helping him keep in balance. Let it go. And that's the tripod sweep because 1 is my left hand, 2 is my left foot, 3 is my right foot. So 1, 2, 3 makes the tripod. Then I'll push the hip. He falls. I sit up and pulse my elbow. As he's falling, I am sitting up. My grip stays on the heel. On that sweep, you will find that a lot of times he stands up together with you. You cannot get the top. That's because you missed one of those little steps. Okay, so don't miss any steps. Sit up, post your elbow, Keep your grip on the heel. As he's falling, you should be here, posting the leg right away. Don't try to go close to him, but pull the leg back. There's the important detail that will get you to stand up before him. Now when he wants to stand up, too late. I can even push his leg away, step across. I have the guard pass. Guard pass plus knee in the belly. So one more time. He stands up on your guard. He's doing a good job. You feel that he's about to open the guard. 2 hands on one arm. One behind the elbow, the other one close to the wrist. Open guard, foot on the hip, escape your own hip to the side. Foot on the biceps. You will find very often they will step forward to raise the head. Control the heel. Hook behind the heel. Let the hand go and push. As he's falling, I'm sitting up, pulsing my foot. Very important. Pull your leg back and stay on your knees. If you do that fast enough, they will be just trying to sit up. When you stand up, push the foot away. Step across, in the belly. It's actually your shin on his belly, hips forward, posture. Good balance here, toes off the mats. Control the position. Let's study now the front choke with the push plus the headlock takedown. Okay? We will use that technique whenever someone comes in with the front choke. But the push is happening here with his thumb. So I don't have an opportunity to tuck my chin down. I have to deal with that. Okay, so good balance, feet parallel. At the same time, I will reach for his elbow, slide my arm in between his arms, and make a cross step here. All at once. So you're here, good balance, and then you make 1. Okay? Right after that, you keep reaching for the headlock, continue pulling his elbow and turning on your side, and pull him real close to you. Okay, so headlock, grips on the arm, and now watch your steps. My right foot's not flat. That allows me to pivot on it, and I bring my left foot in. Just then I turn. Watch, my feet parallel, my heels are pointing outside a little bit, just because I want my hips, half of my hips to the outside. My hips underneath his belt level. Okay, and to better finish this throw, look over your shoulder and rotate your upper body. The opposite is looking down. You limit your motion. Okay, so watch. I look over my shoulder. That gives me a powerful takedown. I'm pulling his arm up to help my partner breaking his fall. Okay? Right after that, it's knee in the belly. Actually, my shin on his belly to control my leg up. For balance, good posture. Pushing my hips forward, that puts more weight on him. Controlling his neck, so his back is flat on the mats, making it very hard for him to escape. You will find that many times people will reach to your neck. It could be also a punch, okay? So all you need to do, the arm is already here. You just control the wrist, and you will quickly step over. You need 2 things to make sure they don't escape from that attack. One is, as you go, you will bring your foot from here to here. 2, you will keep your hip against his triceps, not over the elbow on the forearm. So watch. Really hard for him to escape. I'm locking my knees, his elbow joint is trapped in between my legs, and just then I go to the wrist. That leg here will be sometimes pulling him in, sometimes heavy on his neck. It will change depending on what he's trying to do. Okay? Most times you can pull in and lock your knees. Legs together, pull the wrist down. Submission is right on the elbow joint, so make sure to have his thumb pointing up. If it points down, the submission will not be as tight. Okay, one more time. The choke comes, there's a push, balance. As you go for the throw, make sure not to fight against this arm. He might be super strong here. No problem, you slide in between as you turn on your side. He might be heavy, no problem. Learn how to place your hips. You see, I barely feel his weight here. He's not on my back, he's on my hips. And then make sure to rotate your upper body. That gives you more motion and a powerful throw. Knee on the belly. You can keep your toes on the mats just to relieve a little bit of the weight on your partner. Controlling the neck. If he reaches, that's fine. Control the wrist. My right toes are behind the shoulder. My hip is close to his triceps. Makes it very hard for him to escape. Legs together, thumb up. Let's turn this way here. I want to share with you guys one more detail. Note that when I fell back, I am falling towards his leg. You will be helping him to escape if you fall too high, higher than his head. So you fall towards the leg, legs together, and work on the submission. Let's study close guard from the bottom. We'll work on our transition to his back. Okay, so someone is inside your guard. Very often you will find the person on top using his strong hand to control both collars and the other hand fighting your hip. That's the good timing for you to apply that technique. You work here, cross his grip, work on your transition for his back. When you climb his back like that in competition, you score 2 points. Plus the hooks here, you would be scoring 4 points more now. So, the first thing we need to learn is how to break his grip. He's holding both collars, the other one is fighting my hip. When he holds here, if you push his hand against his 4 fingers, he's much stronger than if you push his hand against his thumb. His thumb is working along. So if you do this, for instance, much more chances to break the grip than if you do this. So knowing that, we will get cross grip on the sleeve to set up the next step. And we'll go like this underneath his wrist. Now, we will posture up and push his grip at the same time. It will be a push with the punch, plus my grip, and posturing up and arching my back. That together with the surprise, you should be able to break his grip very often. So, after you broke the grip, you see you still have the cross grip on the sleeve. He'll try to hold again, but then you cross his arm. My legs will be working a lot. I'm pulling him in with my legs. A lot of times he'll have to post there. That's exactly what I want. So once here, it's working on how to climb his back. You grab around his upper body, and then you open your guard. Help yourself here on his hip to escape your hip. Once you are on your side, you should be able to let it go. Because now if he tries to pull back the elbow, too late. Because I'm pulling his upper body against my chest. Then I should be able to post. Once I post my elbow, should have no problem climbing his back. So step number one is, just like if you want to mount, and now you pull your bottom leg in. One hook already. Post your hand, keep sliding, second foot in. Tell your partner to keep a good turtle position here. Elbows close enough to his knees so he can hold weight. And now, roll him to the side. It's better to choke from there. So, one arm for balance, the other one, I grab the collar and I lean to the side. You see the way I got the collar? Was just to help pulling him upside down. Once here, go underneath, control both collars, have good control, hooks in, can start looking for submissions. Okay, one more time. He controls both collars, and he's trying to fight against my hip. Cross grip on the sleeve, thumb inside underneath the wrist. Now, both hands pushing plus my back, posturing up. Look. And now I pull across and I pull him in with my legs. You see, my legs can really get him to move. If you practice enough, as he's posting, you're grabbing his back, you're escaping your hip, you're posting your elbow, you're pulling your bottom leg in and placing the second hook. That happens pretty fast in a fight. Controlling the collar, roll to the side, both hands on the collars, plus my hooks. Very good position to be here. Let's study the two hands collar choke. It's one submission from the back. Let's say you are already on the back, you are already with your hooks in, and now you need to fight for a choke submission. We'll work on the two hands collar choke. So I'm underneath his arms just for control. Whenever I have the opportunity, one arm over the shoulder. Feet. The other one adjusting. And I have the choke. Underneath, it's just for control. I could be using a bear hug. I could be holding the collars. One hand out, over the shoulder. Tight, 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 tight. As deep as I can. The other one, switch collars to adjust pulling down. It is important that you pull back your elbow as you choke. Separate your chest from his back if you need to. So you're here. Now watch my left elbow. I will extend my arms. And I'll get the choke. Control. Pulling my arm out. Over the shoulder, deep, switching collars. One final detail, and very important. If you have your left hand choking, you will lay to your left side. That because your choke is way more powerful when you bring the person to the same side of your hand that is choking him. Also, that makes much harder for him to escape.